Hey beautiful beaders, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today we're going to be making this star beam pendant. Everything that you need to make this one that we are going to be creating in the tutorial today came from the Eureka Crystal Beads Magic Forest collection for the month of November 2019, which I will link to down below. If you haven't used this coupon code yet, ORCHID15, you can use that to save 15% off your regular price purchase. There are a few exclusions with that, which I will leave down below. And you can see I also made an alternate variation in a pink and purple color combo. I didn't attach a bail to either of these, but in the video today I will be attaching a wire guard in place of one of these Druk beads, which is where you could then attach a chain or whatever you like in order to hang this particular pendant. So real quick, let's go through what you'll need to make this pendant. You're going to need one 16mm Swarovski crystal Rivoli. You will need 30 of these 3-hole beam beads. You will need 5 4mm Swarovski Bicones and 4 to 5 6mm glass round Druk beads, or any round beads will do. You will need a 5th if you are not planning to add a wire guardian or a bail in place of one of these 5 points. You'll also need some 11/0 seed beads, some 11/0 Demi seed beads, some 8/0 seed beads, approximately 6 feet of 0.006 inch Fireline, or the 6-pound, or your beading thread of choice, a size 10 beading needle, and your optional wire guard. All of those items, as well as the links, will be listed down below as to where you can get those products, and the coupon code to eurekacrystalbeads.com as well if you're interested in picking up that entire collection. In the meantime, I'm actually going to be taking apart this entire pendant and putting it back together with you guys. So let me take this one apart, we'll thread our needle, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so just like in our example here, we're actually going to be starting with the center ring of our piece, which is going to be the center going around kind of where the Rivoli is, and we're going to work out from there. And then the last step is where we're actually going to be sewing in our Rivoli so it's secure and it's not going to come out. So the first step is going to be to pick up one of our beam beads, pick up an 8/0, pick up a beam, a demi, an 8/0, and a demi, and pull this down, and you're actually going to repeat that step 5 times. Now I'm going to leave about an 8-inch tail over here that we can weave in later, but for now just continue with your sequence. So pick up another beam, an 8/0, a beam, a demi, an 8/0, and a demi, and pull those down. And repeat beam, 8/0, beam, demi, 8/0, and demi. So once again you have something like that, and pull that down, and we'll repeat this 2 more times. Alright, so we have all of our beads now to bring together in a ring to make our center ring, just like that. Now we're going to be swinging our needle and thread around, and we're going to go through the first 3 beads here, the beam, the 8/0, and the next beam, just like that, and hold on to your tail thread. If you wanted to, you could add a stop bead. That's totally up to you. So we are coming out of the bottom hole of this beam, and now we want to do a step up. We're actually going to be going in the opposite direction through the center hole of the same bead that we're coming out of, just going in the opposite direction there. And in every other segment in this next row, we're going to be adding one of these Swarovski Bicones, so pick one of those up, and then go through the center hole of the next beam bead that you get to. So over top each of your segments with just the single 8/0, you're going to have a Swarovski Bicone. Then over top of this next section, you're going to be building up the arms of your star. So that's where you want to add on another beam, an 11/0, and another beam, and head through the middle hole of the next beam bead that you get to, just like that. Now you're ready for another bicone. Go through the middle of the next beam, and keep repeating. Beam, 11/0, and beam through the center of your next beam, and pull, and then just keep turning your work. Now just popping in a bicone, and now more beams, and a bicone. Beam 11-0 and beam. Then your final bicone and your last beam section here on this row. So just go through the next beam that you get to after you put those on, and now you're going to be stepping up again. You're going to be going through the top hole of the beam bead that you're coming out of already, as well as the middle hole of the next one that you get to. So just like we did before, we want to keep building up the arms of these stars. So we want to pick up another beam, an 11-0 and a beam, and now go through these two beams on the other side that you get to next. It'll be the middle hole of the next one and the top hole of the one after that. And now you're going to start adding in some SuperDuos. So now in this next section, over top of your Swarovski Bicone, pick up a SuperDuo, a 11-0 and a SuperDuo, and then go through the next two beam beads. And you'll be repeating the same process just like you did before. Beam 11-0 and beam, and through the next two beams, and now SuperDuo, 11-0 SuperDuo, beams again, and SuperDuos, popping in your next two beams, and now we're adding in our last two beams for the entire project, making sure those sit in place correctly. And now we're adding in our last two SuperDuos with that 11-0 in the center. And just like you did before, go through the next two beam beads. And it's right here we'll do a step up. So go in the opposite direction through the top hole of the same bead that you're already coming out of, that beam bead. Now pick up an 11-0 and an 8-0. Go through the top hole of the SuperDuo. Then pop in an 11-0 in between the two SuperDuos. Then to keep it symmetrical, pick up an 8-0 and then an 11-0. And go through the next two beam beads, the top hole there and the middle hole of the next one. And then when you get to the arms of your star, you're going to be adding on a Demi, an 8-0, and a Demi in this section. Then go through the next two beam beads, and you're back again to repeat your pattern. So pick up an 11-0 and an 8-0, go through the first SuperDuo, then pop in an 11-0 in between those two, then an 8-0 and an 11-0, and go through the next two beam beads. Then pick up a Demi, an 8-0, and a Demi, and go through the next two beam beads, and just keep repeating this all the way around. And once you get to your last segment, you're going to go through not only the next 2 beam beads, but also go through the next 11-0 that you get to. And this is where you're going to put on 4 more 11-0s and do your final step up, and so turn around and go through the very top hole of that beam bead right there that you were just coming out of. Then add on one of your 6mm round beads and go through the top hole of the next beam. Pick up 4 more 11-0s, skipping over the 11-0 that's right here, and go through the 8-0, the SuperDuo, the 11-0, the SuperDuo, and the 8-0 down there, just like that, to position yourself to where you'll be adding on your next round of 11-0s. Pick up 4 more, going through the top hole of the next beam, adding on your next 6mm in between those two on the next arm of your star, picking up 4 more 11-0s, skipping the 11-0 there and going through that next sequence of beads just like we did before, just like that. So through the 8-0, SuperDuo, 11-0, SuperDuo, and 8-0, and now pick up 4 more 11-0s, go through the top hole, pop in your 6mm, and just keep repeating these steps till you get to your last arm, which is where we're going to be attaching our wire guard, if that's what you want to attach, or you could create your own loop of seed beads or add some other creative type of bail, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, so I'm adding in my last 6mm. And this is the arm where we're going to add our wire guard, but to do that we still need to add on 4 of our 11-0s and get through the top hole of that next beam. And then before we put the wire guard on, I just want to pick up one 11-0, go through one side of the wire guard, and pull that down before we go down the other side of the wire guard. Then pick up another 11-0 before heading through that next beam bead. And just let that sit right into place. Make sure your thread is sitting in the groove of your wire guard. That's very important. And at this point I'm going to pick up 4 more seed beads, but instead of going through the 8-0, I'm going to actually swing around and go through this 11-0 because I want to go through the wire guard one more time. So I'm just making my way back over to the wire guard basically. I went through the beam bead, now I'm going to go through the Demi, the 8-0, and the Demi. And I'm going to swing my needle back around here. And there's more than one way you can get to this point, but this is just the way I'm choosing to go. Swinging around, went through that 11-0 again, going through the wire guard again, then through that 11-0, as well as the 4 11-0s on the side of this beam. And we'll pull that, and now you want to make your way back down to the center. So I'm just going through that 8-0 and the SuperDuo. And then I'm going to swing around and get to my next row down here, going through these 2 beads. So just follow your thread path however you want to, going back and forth to get yourself down to that center row, because that is where we are going to be then sewing in our Rivoli. So I'm almost there. I'm going to swing around, and we want to be coming out of one of these center 8/0s that is on one of the arms of your star. So that's the goal, is to get through one of these 8/0s, because that's where we're going to start and pick up with our next steps. In the meantime, I am going to actually pop a needle onto the tail thread I have here that's sticking out, because I love getting rid of my tail thread, especially when I'm doing a video tutorial. They just get in the way. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll meet back and we will sew in our Rivoli. All right, so I'm coming out of this 8/0 right here. We want to pick up 3 of our 11/0s. Then we want to pick up 1 of our 8/0s and 3 more of our 11/0s. Skip over the next 8/0 here that you get to and go through the 8/0 after that, the next one with the 2 demis on either side. So just go through that and pull, and repeat this process all the way around. So 3 11/0s, 1 8/0, 3 11/0s, skipping over the next 8/0 and going through the one after that. And we're on our last one, and we're going to go through that 8/0 that we started in, pull those beads, and this time we want to head up through those 3 11/0s and up through the 8/0 that's right there. And now we're going to enclose this just a little bit. We're going to be putting on 6 demis in between each of the 8/0s in this very top section. So put on 6 demis and go directly through that next 8/0 there, and repeat that step all the way around. 6 demis and going through this next 8/0. And there we are once again. And then our last demis going through the 8/0, and that's what our center looks like. That's going to be framing our Rivoli. And what we want to do is we want to go through all these beads in the very center one more time to reinforce this piece at that point. It's usually a good idea to reinforce the center beads that are stretched across and encasing your Rivoli, because that can be an additional point of stress on your piece. And now that we've gone through all of those center beads one more time, we want to go down through these 11/0s. We want to make our way to the back. I'm also going to go through this 8/0 right here. And we're going to flip it over to the back side so we can continue on that way. So we actually did want to be coming out of this 8/0 again, once again, right at the base of one of the arms of our star. You can go ahead and put your Rivoli in at this point if you want, or you can wait until you've added some more seed beads back here. I'll just go ahead and hold it here, but you can see that's how it's starting to take shape in the front. Now we're going to add on 7 of our 11/0s, Skipping over the next 8-0 here and going through the next one, the one with the 2 demis on either side, so kind of like we did before on the other side, and repeat this process all the way around. So 7 more seed beads, skipping this 8-0 and going through the next. And I'm on my last set of 7. So pick up 7. And then I'll go through that 8-0 where it all started. And pull. So now just make sure your Rivoli is centered. Make sure that it is where you want it. So now that you're going to be tightening up your piece, you're really going to be tightening it up in the right spot. Alright, so coming out of this 8-0, I'm going to go up through the first 4 seed beads here that I get to that we had just added on. That's kind of like the middle of that section of 7. And then I'm just going to turn it and pick up 3 more 11-0s. And then go through that center seed bead or the 4th seed bead of that next section of 7. And turn, just keep pulling it nice and tight. Pick up 3 more. And go through that next center section. And repeat until you've gotten to the other side. And now we're at the last section. You see how it's forming a little star back there, which is cute because it imitates the star design that we're doing. And same thing with on the front. And just like you did before, you want to make sure, again, that your Rivoli is centered before you really pull it tight. And you want to go through this entire center ring of seed beads one more time and tighten it all the way around your piece to discourage the Rivoli from moving at all, keeping it nice and centered, and keeping your piece more tight and secure. So that's what the back looks like. It actually looks very nice as well, and here is what the front looks like, and we are going to tie off our thread and knot it. So I'm just going to go under this thread bridge that I get to first right here, make a loop, go through the loop, pull that down, go through a few more beads, make another loop here to make another knot, and I think I'm going to go this way and make a third knot right here. And if you've got extra thread left over like I do, you can always go through your whole piece again however you want. If you want to really tighten it up, that is totally up to you. So here's a close-up look at the finished piece. You can do these in all different sorts of color variations, just like I have the pink and purple one right here. But just a reminder, you can get everything that you need to make this green and gold colorway from EurekaCrystalBeads.com, and you can use that coupon code ORCHID15. I pulled everything from the Magical Forest November 2019 collection that they continue to carry on their site at this time. But you can also find all of these individual beads and the Swarovski Rivoli there as well, or many other color combinations. So now this pendant is ready to be put on a chain. You can use it as a necklace or you can use it as decor. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know how yours came out or what colorway you decided to use, or anything else you'd like to say. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope it was helpful for you and it was easy for you to understand. So until next time, stay tuned for much more to come. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and as always, happy beading. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can check out the information section below this video for links to all my social media handles, recommended products, and my shop and blog at orchidandopal.com. Thanks for watching.